New York's Bill de Blasio claimed that he was going to fight tooth and nail to stop the unfair arrests of people who have simple marijuana possession. Well, even though Ann Coulter believes that people don't get arrested for marijuana possession, it turns out that even in places like New York, if you do get caught with possession and happen to be a minority, you are likely to get arrested. Let me give you the details. This is based on data by the Legal Aid Society, and it shows that just a 3.9 decrease in marijuana arrests have happened since the beginning of 2016. So there has been a slight decrease, but keep in mind that they've handled 5,934 marijuana cases involving misdemeanor charges and violations since the start of 2017 alone. That's compared to 6,180 during the same period last year in 2016. Now, in New York, there have been a total of 9,968 arrests for marijuana possession this year.
What? No, I don't get
this year.
But I don't understand, Anna, because
this year,
in the debate you had with Ann Coulter, she said there were none in the country.
No one gets arrested for
ever.
marijuana. No.
Okay.
Anyway, I think that it's least surprising that the overwhelming majority of these arrests happen in minority communities, even though data and statistics indicate that white individuals use marijuana at similar rates as minorities do. Arrests climbed 30% during the 6-month period between 2015 and 2016, with white people making up less than 10% of those arrests, just to give you an idea of how minorities are disproportionately impacted by these ridiculous draconian laws.
Okay, look, there's plenty of minorities in New York City, so yes, take that into account. There's also a tremendous number of white people in Manhattan because no one else can afford the apartments there. So de Blasio, he's way too liberal and stuff. No, I know, and to be fair to him, it takes a long time to fix the culture in things like the NYPD, okay? Having said that, look, here's one thing you could do as mayor, and again, it would cause a ruckus and people would lose their minds, but it gives you a sense of how unfair the system is today. If I'm mayor of New York City, I go, oh, you know what? I'm gonna do random spot checks, stop and frisk at Wall Street. You think I'm not gonna catch a ton of cocaine, marijuana, let alone all the other drugs?
Yeah.
All right, lock them up, let's go, handcuffs. Then I'm gonna go to Park Avenue, see what they're up to over there. Then I'm gonna go to Midtown and see what they're up to. And I'm gonna go all around the city. Now, if you did that, you wouldn't have 10% whites, you'd have probably whatever the proportion of New York City is, because we know for a fact that black people and white people smoke marijuana at about the same rate all across the country, but they choose not to do that.
Right, and also, look, de Blasio's spokespeople responded with, look, de Blasio said that marijuana arrests would decrease, and they have decreased a little over 3%, and summonses have gone up 2%. So people are getting summoned rather than getting arrested. But here's the thing, I don't care if you're black, don't care if you're white, don't care if you're Asian, don't care if you're a freaking lizard person. I don't want anyone to be arrested or have to deal with a summons because of simple marijuana possession. I don't care, I don't want any taxpayer money going towards something that stupid. It's just such a waste of resources. By the way, a summons is just as bad, not just as bad. I mean, when you're talking about the legal ramifications, it's not as bad, but it's still a waste of resources.
And look, guys, we're not unrealistic about this. I worked as a prosecutor during the summers when I was an intern at the Southern District of New York, and we got briefings on where the drug transactions happen most. And so this is 20 years ago, it's no longer relevant. I don't know if it's the same spots or not, but I know the spots that it happened, and I know that they were minority areas. So I know that there's not a huge drug trade going on in the middle of the Upper East Side, for example. But that doesn't mean people aren't smoking pot or using drugs on the Upper East Side. And that doesn't mean that drugs aren't being sold on Wall Street, but in more informal ways instead of a guy sitting in the corner. So we're not being naive or we don't have rose-colored glasses on here. And I know that some of the times when they arrest people for possession or convict them, certainly on arresting is different, but on conviction it's because they took a plea and instead of drug dealing, they got drug possession for their conviction. I know all that. Nonetheless, it is still overwhelmingly disproportionate. Not because, hey, you know what, I want white people to be arrested more. Two, I'm with Anna. I don't want anybody arrested for marijuana possession. I think it should be legal. But if you're going around arresting all the minorities, right, and going and doing all this effort to make sure you do thousands of arrests in their neighborhoods, and then you don't touch the other neighborhoods at all, at all. You don't do any stop and frisk. You don't find out if they're selling drugs on Wall Street. I got news for you, they're selling drugs on Wall Street. Are you insane? Have you, like any book that has ever been written, any article about Wall Street and about what happens internally, cocaine, 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 cocaine. Yeah. But there's never any bust, there's never any big sting operations, because if you did that, a lot of people that are powerful are gonna get pissed. And even de Blasio is not doing it.
Right.
They think he's too progressive. Right. Wait till they should have a real progressive mayor. Go actually do some, whatever you're gonna do, if you're gonna do anything, do it proportionately and then watch them howl. Because you know what? If you arrested powerful people, again, put aside race for a second, rich, powerful people at the same rate that you arrest poor, powerless people, we'd get rid of the war on drugs immediately. Because the minute you start locking up judges and bankers and lawyers, they say, what? This war on drugs is outrageous. I was just getting high. Exactly. Watch the Young Turks commercial free, download it or stream it, watch it any way you like at tytnetwork.com/join.